Welcome class 9 students. In previous video clippings we have discussed about the three major physiographic divisions like the Himalayan mountains, northern plains and the peninsular plateau. Now we will discuss about the Indian desert, the coastal plains and about the different types of islands. So look at the map. If we look the map, then this blue which I have demarcated with the blue ink, this portion is known as the coastal plains. Okay, this portion is known as the coastal plains. The peninsular plateau is flanked by a narrow coastal strips and it is running along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal in the east. So these two portion, western portion of the coastal plains is merged with Arabian Sea and the eastern portion of the coastal plains is merged with the Bay of Bengal, right? And the western coast sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea, it is a narrow plain. It consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called the Konkan Coast. Understand? Next, the central stretch is called the Kannada Plain, while the southern stretch is referred to as Malabar Coast. So, there are three main portions. What are the three portions? There are three portions. Number one, that is known as Konkan Coast. Number 2, which is known as Kannada Plain. And number 3, which is known as Malabar Coast. The plains along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level. So the difference between two sides, this is a narrow plain, but this side, eastern side, are wider than western side. In the northern part, it is referred to as the northern circle, while the southern part, it is known as the Coromandel coast. Look at your map book. It is demarcated here. This portion is known as the northern circles. It is the northern portion, and the southern portion, it is demarcated as Coromandel coast. And there are some large rivers are noticeable, such as the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and the Kaveri, and all the rivers have identified here. If you follow this map, then you have seen different types of rivers channels are noticeable here. Okay, and Chilka Lake is a important lake of this plateau, of this plain area. So this is a important short questions, you have to read it. So these are the main characteristics of the coastal plains. Now we have to discuss the island portion. If we discuss the island portion, then we have to know island, what is an island, and in every classes you have gained that idea what is an island. Island is a land which is covered with water from all sides. So this portion which I have demarcated with number 6, these are known as the islands, and from this portion there are some island also. So there are mainly two types of island groups in our India. What are that group? Number 1, Andaman and Nicobar Island. Andaman and Nicobar Island. Number 2, Lakshadweep Island. Now, each and every island has some characteristics. Look at the map again. From the western portion of the Indian map, it is known as Lakshadweep, and the eastern portion it is demarcated as Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So Lakshadweep Island is located on the western portion, and this island group close to the Malabar coast of Kerala. This is Malabar coast, and Kerala state is also situated in this side. So this is also merged with the Lakshadweep Island. This group of island is composed of small coral island. Coral island means which island is totally made up with coral or polyps. Coral is a sea insects, and these are lived in this sea or ocean area. These are microscopic organisms, okay, and which live in the colonial area. So when and every time they always secrete the calcium carbonate. So when they will die, then they secrete the calcium carbonate, and at the last moment they deposit it and they make a reef or wall. Reef means wall. They are mainly of three kinds. Number 1, barrier reef. Number 2, atolls. And number 3, fringing reef. Okay. As an example, the Great Barrier Reef of Australia is the example of barrier reef. And there are also different types of fringing reef, atolls. Okay, so these are mainly the definitions of corals. So Lakshadweep Island is mainly made up with the coral or coral polyps. Earlier they were known as Lakadweep, Minikoi and Amin Divi. In 1973 these were named as Lakshadweep. It covers a small area of 32 square kilometer. Important for short question. And what is the capital of Lakshadweep? Kavaratti. Okay. And the Pitti Island, which is uninhabited, it has a bird sanctuary. So these are some characteristics of Lakshadweep Island. Now in the eastern side, Andaman and Nicobar Island is located. And if you see, then you can see that it is located in the Bay of Bengal from north to south. From north to south. Northern portion is known as Andaman and southern portion is identified as Nicobar. They are bigger in size and are more numerous and scattered. Scattered means they are located here and there. So they are scattered. The entire group of island is divided into two broad categories. The northern portion is known as the Andaman and the southern portion is known as the Nicobar. It is believed that these islands are an elevated portion of submarine mountains. Important for short questions. And there is a great variety of flora and fauna. Flora and fauna are the main thing which are noticeable in the island and Nicobar Island. And in Lakshadweep Island, main thing is that the coral or coral polyps. So these are the main difference. And this is also difference that Lakshadweep Island is located in the Arabian Sea and it is located in the Bay of Bengal. So this type of question may become write the differences between the Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Island. And this island lie close to equator and experience equatorial climate and has thick forest cover. If anytime you go in the Andaman and Nicobar Island, then you will feel it that this area is close to the equatorial region. So that area has equatorial climate. You know about the equatorial climate. That region receives the great sun rays. So that area has high temperature. So that area also receives a high amount of rainfall. So that is forest cover area also. And next we have to discuss about the desert area. Our next and the last portion, it is known as the Indian desert. The Great Indian Desert. And what is the main example? third desert. So you have already a numerous idea about the desert area, right? You know that desert area always receives a very little amount of rainfall, below 150 millimeter it is, and it is a sandy plain covered with some sand dunes. Sand dunes is looking like this, and sometimes it always looking like this. What is this? This is sand dunes, and this is, it is looking like half moon shape, so it is known as Barkhan. In class 8 you all have read about that type of landforms. Barkhan is originated about the work of wind in the desert area. You have read that. So this type of landform, like small type hill or sand dunes or Barkhan or Sif is looking like this. This is a longitudinal landform. This type of landform is also noticeable in the desert area. So these are the main characteristics, and rainfall is very less in amount. Temperature is great, receives very high amount of sun rays. So the people here in very scattered manner, and oases are a great characteristics of that area. You know about the oases. So these are the main thing, and Luni is the only large river in this region. Okay, so all the parts we have discussed, like the mountains, the hill, the plain area, plateau area, and the desert area and the islands. But why we will read this area, this region? At they have any great importance in our livings? We have read in class 8 about resources. Yes, resources means which have some good value, right? So if anything has some good value, so that has a great importance. So why the major physiographic divisions of India has a great importance? Then we can say that if we discuss about the mountains, these are the major sources of water, like perennial river that are originated from that area, and forest also. The northern plains, which are known as granaries. Granaries means where crops are grown in large amount. Why the northern plains are known as granaries of the country? Because at that portion alluvial soil is found. So you know about the alluvial soil. So you know the why agriculture is suitable at that area. So that area is known as the granaries of the country. They provide the base for early civilizations. Then the plateau. Plateau is a minerals storehouse. Chhatnagpur plateau, you have read about that, which has played a very crucial role in the industrialization of the country. And the coastal region and the island groups provide sites for fishing and port activities. They are a good tourist spots also. And thus the diverse physical features of the land have a great future possibilities of development. And from each and every physiographic landform, physiographic features or physiographic area, we can get a large amount of resources. For this purpose, we must have to know about each and every physical features of India. And so in this way, we can find the different landform, different characteristics, and their different potentiality for the future of our India. So this is the main importance of this chapter. Understand? I think we all are cleared about that chapter. And if you have any further queries, so you can also make that queries by telephonic call. So you also have to practice some map from this chapter. Later we will discuss it. Okay, thank you.